Hi everyone, this is Dr. Dan, and I'm going to make a video to show you how to use a spectrophotometer. And in order to have a practical application for that, what we're going to do is we're going to figure out how much concentration is in this food coloring dye that I used at home when we made our alginate beads at home. So you remember I said I don't really know the concentration, so I just made a solution of 2 drops per cup, and that's what we put in our alginate beads. And I happen to save some of that so we can measure that in lab today using a spectrophotometer. So I'm going to kind of go through what your spectrophotometer calibration lab would look like, so you can show you how to use this. But then we're going to use that calibration to figure out the actual concentration of the red dye. Okay, so I'm going to start off. Depending on what color you used, right, I have 10 millimolar of red, 10 millimolar of yellow, or 10 millimolar of blue. Obviously, today I'm going to use 10 millimolar of red. But the first step that you guys will do in lab is to figure out what's the peak you need to measure. And so in order to do that, we just need to get a reasonable amount of red dye. 10 millimolar is far too dark, so the first thing we have to do is dilute it. So I'm going to get 200 microliters of this 10 millimolar dye. I'm going to put it in my little centrifuge tube. Okay, and it is very dark. I'll tell you, I already know that's way too dark for the spectrophotometer to measure. So what we're going to have to do is dilute it way down. And so the first thing I tell you guys to do is dilute it down to 1 millimolar. So to go from 200 microliters of 10 millimolar down to 1 millimolar, that means we need to dilute it by a factor of basically 10. So I'm going to add 1,800 microliters of water in here. Right, that would be taking 200 to 2,000, which means it will dilute the concentration by 10 as well. So I'm going to start, I'm going to add, I'll just make this, to add 1,800, I'll just make this 900. So I'll add 900 twice of pure water. So I have my DI water in my little beaker here. Okay, so that gives us a 1 millimolar solution. And what I'm going to do is make sure I write in pen what this is on the lid so I know exactly what it is. But I'll also tell you, based on my previous experience doing this, 1 millimolar is still too dark for the spectrophotometer. So I'm going to go ahead and dilute it by a factor of 2. And the easiest way to do that is just take half of this, so 1 milliliter, and add 1 milliliter of water, and that will cut the concentration by half. I can reuse this pipette tip because it's just touched water and that, so it's already touched the concentration of this and not anything else. So I can reuse this one. So I'm going to get 1. I need to change my pipetter first to 1. All right, so this will be 1 milliliter, or half of this. Okay, now I don't want to touch this to the water because there could be some red in there, right? We want to keep the water pure. I'm going to add 1 milliliter of water. All right, so this is now 0.5 millimolar. And I'll write that on there. Okay, we're going to start by seeing if we can measure that. You can already see this is still much darker than my 2 drops per cup I had. But that's okay. We're going to go ahead and keep with this. Let's go ahead and, in order to put a liquid into our well plate, which we use to measure, it needs to be all the way down to 200 microliters. If you put too much, it'll overfill the well. So I'm going to put 200 microliters. I'm going to put it in spot B2. Okay, so I'm going to write that in my lab notebook as soon as I do this as well. That B2 has 0.5 millimolar. All right, and then it comes to measuring the spectrophotometer. So in order to do that, you have to take the lid off so it's a nice clear look. And let me focus in on the spectrophotometer here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we have to go through this thing, and it says plate format 96 wells, and then we want to set the area, right? We don't want every area. All we want is just to measure B2, and that's it. And we hit accept. Okay, incubation, no incubation, and then we want a measurement. We want to do a spectrum because we want to figure out where the peak is to go, right? And so we're going to go from 20 nanometers to 1,000 nanometers at 10 nanometers, right? That's pretty good, so we'll say accept. Okay, in order to now get the plate in, you push this in-out button. So I pull the plate out. I push the in-out button again. You don't want to push anything or pull anything. And now it's ready to go. We just have to hit start, and it will measure that one spot at all those wavelengths. Okay, and so we see we get a measurement here, but we do see that our peak that we're looking for is a little bit off scale high, right? So even this 0.5 is a little too concentrated for us. Okay, so I'm going to need to dilute it again. I mean, I could start diluting like not quite 50%, but I'm just going to keep diluting 50%. So our next dilution will be 0.25 millimolar. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take 100 microliters, or 1,000 microliters, or 1 milliliter of the 0.5 and add 1 milliliter of water, right? That will take it down to 0.25. Again, this is where I'll change pipette tips because I'm going to touch the pure water here. All right, so this is 0.25, and I'm going to put this in spot B3. Right, I'm going to make sure I record that. And again, I need to reduce this way down to 200 so I can add it to the well plate. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing, except we're going to look at B3. So I'll turn this around here so you guys can see. I can close this previous one. Okay, I want to do the same thing, except the area now, I just want to choose just B3. I don't want B2. I just want B3. There we go. Accept. And now I hit start. Okay, perfect. And so we can see that we got our peak right about where we wanted. I believe it's at about 500. So sometimes it's trying to auto-detect peaks. For whatever reason, it detected a lower peak at 310, and it detected this water peak at 980 nanometers. All I can say is, maybe dilute it a little bit further, it would be able to auto-detect our peak. I'm not going to worry about it too much. We now know that's where the peak is, right about 500-ish, maybe 510 to be exact. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to run the experiment at that peak. We've gotten this far. Now I also want to see, I got my 2 drops per cup of the dye I used in my food coloring. And I want to make sure it's actually at the same peak. So I'm going to take 200 microliters of that, and I'm going to put it in D2. And we're just going to make sure that this is actually Allure Red food coloring, and we get the same results. So I can close this one. I'm going to change my area to D2 because that's where I put it. Accept that, and then hit start. Okay, so look, you can see the absorbance. It says 520. You can see on the point, it's close to 510, 520. I think 510 is a pretty good guess. But so you can see this is basically the same peak as we had with the other red. So we're pretty happy with this. So I know I can use that as my experimental condition in D2. Right now, I just need to create a curve that I can now compare that D2 with the rest, so I can figure out what my concentration of D2 actually is in millimolar. Is I'm going to keep diluting this down in half, right? So I have 0.25. I'm going to dilute it 1 to 1 again, and that will give me 0.125. And now dilute it again, that will give me 0.06, whatever, 25, right? Then I'll dilute it again, and it'll get me 0.03725 or something like that, right? So I'll keep going down by diluting by a factor of 2. And so I'm just going to add 1 mils of the previous one to 1 mil of water, and that will work out for me. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to take the 0.25, take 1 mil of it. I'm going to put it in the next one. Get rid of that tip. Get some pure water. Put that in there. I'm going to go ahead and just mix this around. And I can just take 1 mil from this one and put it in the next one. Right, and so now I need to be careful because I'm going to start labeling things before I forget, right? So this one is 0.125. This next one is going to be 0.0625. And so it needs 1 mil of water in it. Again, I'll take a mil out of that, and I'll put it in the next one. All right, and so we're getting really close. Right now we just need to put all of these in our well plate. And so I'm going to set up my lab notebook to do this. I know where my 0.5 is. I know where my 0.25 is. And now I just need to write down where the rest will go. Okay, so now I'm just going to put 200 microliters of each in order where I marked them. And I need to get a new tip for each one of these so I don't contaminate the previous ones. Okay, and then the last thing I need to do is I need to make sure I have a pure water. So I'm going to put pure water in B10, and that will be it, and then we'll be able to measure the whole plate. So you go through a lot of tips, so I had to get some extra tips to finish this off. Okay, and you just have to, it's really important to pay attention to like which ones you're using, to make sure you're putting in the right things, to make sure you're recording it all in your lab notebook. It's really important to do that. Okay, so now we can measure these. I'm going to measure everything. I'm going to measure my calibration curve that I have up on row B, and I'm also going to measure D2 again, all at the same time. So let's close this one. So we're going to change our area, and I'm going to select, you can only select a rectangle, so I'm going to make sure I have to select all these. I need to get all the way to B10, and I need to get to D2. And now, instead of measuring that whole range, I can just measure a single wavelength, and the single wavelength we said is going to be 510-ish. Okay, I send it in. I hit start. Okay, and then we get our measurements out. And so you can see in B2 those hashtags, because the number was too big, right? It couldn't detect that 0.5 millimolar. And so that's why we had to go down. So now I'm going to write all these down, right? I need to write down B3, B4, B5, B6, B7, B8, B9, and B10, and as well as D2, where my actual experimental condition is. So I'd write all those down. You know, you could take a picture of this screen with your phone too. That might be smart to save the data off. And that way, less chance you have an error for writing. And then we're going to figure out, okay, what is our actual concentration of Allure red dye in this bottle of red food coloring? Okay, we're almost done. So now we have enough data from the spectrophotometer to tell us what the concentration of 2 drops per cup is. The problem here is we have no idea what a drop is. Like, what's the volume of a drop, right? And so there's a couple ways to do that. I think the easiest way is probably to make some sort of weight measurement, right? Weigh how much a drop weighs. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to turn on my scale. All right, put this little weigh boat on there, tare it. And so I'm going to use the same size-ish drop that I tried to use at home. I mean, obviously there's going to be a little bit of error going on, but we'll try. Okay, so I measured 1 drop weighs 0.124 grams. All right, if I wanted to try to be accurate, right, I can just measure how much a couple drops would weigh and get a couple measurements so I can get an idea if a drop is consistent or not. So I hit tare on this, it'll go back to 0, and now I can try adding another drop and see what this drop weighs. Okay, so you can see it's not completely consistent, so that one's 0.135 grams. So I better make a couple more measurements just so I get a good idea here. I'll hit tare on that. All right, that was a small drop, 0.081, right? Now, you may be thinking, this is crazy. There's a lot of variation. I said, yep, there is a lot of variation. But I don't, when I did this at home, all that variation was there when I tried to make my true drops. And so we're going to try to get an idea of what this is. So now, okay, we got this in weight, but what we really need is we need a volume to go with this, right? Like, maybe we can use 1 milligram per milliliter if we wanted to know exactly the volume. But I think a better way to do it might be just to measure a known volume of that food coloring and see how much it weighs. So I'm going to tare this again, set it to 0. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can get 200 microliters of these drops I'm just weighed. All right, there's 200 microliters. All right, obviously a bunch has stayed in there, right? Like, it's very sticky stuff on the food coloring. But I got, I can make multiple measurements here too. That's what I'm going to do. Right, I got 0.158 is 200 microliters. So I'm going to measure another 200 microliters the same way. I'll hit tare. Okay, so this one I got 0.171. Okay, I can't do it again because it's kind of thinned out and I'm just getting a lot of air. But we'll take those two, 158 and 171 as kind of our measurements. Right, and so now we can go ahead and do some kind of conversion where we figure out, how much mass, therefore how much volume 2 drops was. And so we can do 2 drops into a cup, and we'll do all the math to figure out what the actual concentration in this tube of food coloring actually is using our spectrophotometer. So that's pretty cool that we could do that.